All right, friends, tonight is the night. So I'm filming this on December 21st, which means tomorrow, for me, it is the final show of Festivale Ikangas 61. And so tonight we are going through my top 10. So we're going to do this the old-fashioned way and just go from 10 to 1. I'm going to tell you the songs, play a little clip, and give one of my favorite things and one of my least favorite things about each. So, without further ado, let's get started. My 10th place for FIK 61 is Maniola Nalbani with Dua. So, one of my favorite things about this song is how it just seems to be a touchback to so many of the Eurovision entries that we know and love from the past. Like, I see in my head a mix of Ukraine 2009 Anti-Crisis Girl with some of the sounds from the beginning of Doom Tech Tech. Like, there's just so many touch points to so many previous songs that I love. One of my least favorite things is that because of that, there's not really much in this song going on that we have not seen in previous Eurovision entries. And so it really doesn't stand out when you compare it in that way, but it's fun to be able to see an entry like this in a 2022-2023 competition. Ninth place is Melodina Mansaku. My favorite thing about her song is it's a very melodic song. It's beautiful to listen to. You can close your eyes and be transported to a beautiful world that she's created with her vocals. But my least favorite thing is it kind of stays in that one space, that one area the whole time. There's not a lot of up and down in terms of range, in terms of color, texture, timbre. It's pretty one note in multiple ways. So that would be my least favorite thing. But overall, very good song. Can't wait for her to come back. And I'm like, girl, do a duet with your sister. I think it would do well for you. I love both of y'all. Eighth place is Urban Band. So my favorite thing about this song is it's just that good old feel-good inspirational rock track that I love to have a few of spread throughout all of the national selections each year. They rarely are winners, nor do I think they usually should be winners, but I always love and appreciate them when they're in the national selections. My least favorite thing, of course, is kind of been there, done that. It's not doing the inspirational rock aesthetic or sound in any sort of new way, but I also think the lead singer is just very good looking, and so that would be a favorite too. Seventh place is Nisi with Kosmosi I Dashuris. So I really enjoy the power that she holds with the vocals of this song. It just, well, I said the power she holds, but it almost is a power unleashed. She lets it go. She lets you feel it through the vocals. And so, you know, and each time that chorus comes, it seems like it gets a little bit more impassioned. And so I really love the power and the passion in this song and how she's able to convey it. One of my least favorite things about this song is that the chorus isn't super melodic. And so it's not super easy to catch a melody in your ear that will stick with you for minutes and hours and days after, like you may see with some of the entries a little higher on my list. Sixth place is Rovenna with Moti. So it was hard for me picking 7th versus 6th because both of these entries have a lot of similarities. And I had a little bit of a hard time, but I ended up putting Ravenna higher because it has a more accessible and melodic chorus than Erma's song does. And it also has that inspirational undertone that y'all know I'm just a sucker for, big sucker for. And so I really love this entry, and it also sounds familiar. It sounds nostalgic, which is a good thing, but also it's one of my lesser favorite things of the song because it's not something that we have never heard before. So we've heard many similar inspirational melodic tracks. So as much as I love those, this isn't doing that in a new way, from a new perspective, anything like that. Top 5. So 5th place is Albina and Family with Duye. So some might think this is a little low, some might think it's a little high, I don't know. But some of my favorite things about this song are I can see so much potential in the song. The building blocks are there to make a great Eurovision entry, right? You have nice ethnic tones throughout the song. You have an incredible lead vocal. You have an already built-in chorus that can come in throughout the song. Chorus choir, I meant. That can come in during the choruses of the song. And so the building blocks, the foundation is there. But the biggest gripe I have with the song is not with Albina herself, but it's with the family and how the family is dealt with musically. First off, I think the mixing needs a little bit of work, and I understand that with live orchestra it can be difficult, so maybe without the live orchestra, this will be easier to accomplish if she does win. But I can barely hear most of the rest of the family throughout the song. The moment when the two sisters, I assume, are next to her and singing with her, that is like the most clear harmonic moment that I can glean from most of the song, and it sounds very good then. But the rest of the song, they're just kind of a muffled set of harmonies in the back. And then the other little piece is something is not quite locking in harmonically for me. And I don't think it's either of the sisters. I think it's a guy. It's one of the guys, I think. Somebody is just a little bit off, and it's kind of throwing the sound of the whole thing off for me. But it's not to the extent that it can't be fixed. And again, maybe the live orchestra is not helping this because it's such a loud sound. And I know they have in-ears, but still, things can go wrong, things can go awry. So it's just those little things with the family, not necessarily Albina herself, that I think would need to be tweaked for this to move higher in my ranking. But I see the potential, and I see the vision, and I see why so many people do like it. I'm just not quite there yet. Fourth place is Enji Sufi with Bur. So I have to shout out my friend Shane, because Shane, I watched his top 10 and he said that she had released the studio track for this song and to go listen to it. And so I did, and I was blown away. Compared to the live performance, it's night and day. And so that really does go to show, like Shane said in his video, that not every song is favored by a live orchestra, and we kind of have to keep that in mind too. I love this song because, especially the studio track, but even the live performance is an almost ready to go performance. The vocal is there. She's locked in terms of pitch, in terms of rhythm. She's right on top of the rhythm throughout the song, which you need to for like a bop performance like this. She looks great. The aesthetic is there. Like, if they had to send a song that was already ready and they said no revamps, just send it, this is one of the ones I think they could send and could do all right with. And so I really, really enjoy this song, especially after hearing the studio cut. So shout out to you, Shane. Really appreciate the tip. But I would say the only least favorite thing I have about this song is that it isn't favored by that live orchestra. So I think a lot of people who don't find that studio track may overlook it, because without the live orchestra, it just doesn't stand out nearly as much as with those studio effects. Third place for me, and this is guilty pleasure territory. Guilty pleasure literally, but also guilty pleasure because if you remember guilty pleasure from Croatia last year, that was also a big guilty pleasure of mine. So playing on words here. It's Alban Kondi and Lore with Melody. I know, I might be the only person to have it this high, or I might not. I know there are some of y'all out there that would do the same. If you're one, comment below. There's just something about this song that feels transformational to me. That's the word, I think, transformational. I could see this song, walk with me here. I could see this song in a soundtrack to a movie, at the point in the movie where the main character, or let's say characters, group of friends even, has come to resolve. They have resolved their conflicts, and they are starting anew. You know, in those movies that have a group of main characters and then at the end they all kind of walk away and then it freeze frames and says, you know, David went on to college at Harvard and married a wonderful woman or man and had 3 kids and you know, all of that shit. I could see this song being that. It's so beautiful. And honestly, I could see, like, if this song did end up going, which I know there's fat chance, but if it did, I could just see a moment with the crowd. Just like, you know, and me, get one drink in me, I'm gonna be crying to this shit. I will be crying. You know, I said the same thing about Guilty Pleasure. I am a sucker for this type of stuff. So love that. And I also love the multi-genre approach. That's nothing super new, not even in the Eurovision world, but in general, you know, pop singer and a rapper. But I really like how they do it here, and it makes me smile each and every time. And I listen to this on replay. And also, the melody is super catchy. It's an earworm. I would say the least favorite thing about this song for me is that it can come across as dated, and I recognize that. I'm not blinded by my love for it, but can come across as dated. So, second place is Fifi with the song Stop. So this song was one where I was like, in the original clips, I was like, I'm gonna have to check out more of it. And I did, and I really enjoyed it listening to the whole song through. So I love the kind of Caribbean vibes that this song gives off, especially I think rhythmically. The song gives off Caribbean vibes, especially with those plucked strings and the rhythm of the plucked strings. So I really like that. And it's an earworm. I am still singing it in my head as I'm sitting here. And honestly, I've been singing it in my head through most of this video. Now, what I'll say in terms of maybe my least favorite aspect would be the live performance was underwhelming. And I know that it can be difficult at FIK to have a really captivating live performance. Like, not many people even bring a dancer to FIK. And I know that she did, which is great, but I was just not super captivated or impressed by the live performance. Now, that's something that's pretty easy to change with some choreography work and some set design work. And so it doesn't really bring the song down that much for me, but if I had to pick something, it would be the live performance was underwhelming for me. And here we are at number 1, which my number 1 for this year, if you can't already guess, for FIK is Vanessa Sono with Aromayon. So this is that Albanian ballad that I just can't get enough of. Like I mentioned in my reaction from yesterday, it's been a few years since we've had one, and I'm ready for another. Now, will this year be the year? I don't know, but I will say that this song is pretty ready to go as well. There are definitely some changes that can be made maybe to the production and to some vocal choices to elevate the song a little bit, but her vocals are fantastic, not a note missed. I really like her presence on stage, even though she doesn't move around on stage. I like that she has a solid presence already. And so if she did end up moving around a little at Eurovision, if she were to go, I think that would carry over. And it's just such a powerful song. And there is a little melody that you can catch on to, hook into as well. What I will say is I would just like to see her continue to develop some of the vocal choices in the song, maybe make some even riskier choices in the last chorus, maybe go a little higher, maybe throw a few extra runs in there, like make it even more impactful, because she does do some of that now and I love it. So I would just love to see more of that. So anyway, that's my top 10 for FIK 61. Now, of course, I cannot wait because later Today, when this video comes out, when you're watching this, we will have our Albanian entrant for Eurovision, and I am working from home, so I should be able to check it out pretty quickly after they release it. So I'm super excited. Let me know what your top 10 is. This is a challenge for you. You have to give me your full top 10. I don't want a top 1, I don't want a top 3, I don't want a top 5, 7, or 9. I want your full top 10. So anyway, thank you for clicking on this video. Thank you for watching this video. And as always, I'll see you next time.